And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation are hope and desires to help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love, and help amazing designers find great players who love their games. Yeah, in a lot of different ways. Hands down, my favorite one is sitting down typically with the designer of a module and playing those games. Today, we don't have Ian Yusem with us, who is the designer of Meat Grinder. It's part of their Inferno Trilogy, which is a Mothership RPG module, but we are going to be playing it with Through the Void. It's a continuation of The Drain, which is also by Ian. It's the middle part of the Inferno Trilogy that we played a little while ago. It's a zero-level funnel adventure. So today we are playing with the survivors of that funnel adventure, plus some hulky space marines that are about to drop out. If you want to go retweet the go live tweet, that'd be awesome. Let's say if we get 15 people on stream at any point, we are gonna give away a free copy of this also too. We'll get you a digital copy of the game. And Ian wants us to know that for clarity, Ian just developed it and published it. Sigma Castell wrote Meat Grinder. So just FYI for everybody out there. But I am super excited to dive into it. Let's meet some of our other players. I wonder if everybody's in a slightly different position now. It should attract across everything. Let's start with right below me on the screen as far as everybody else can see. Ty, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. Also, tell us a little bit about your character that survived the drain.
Cool. Yeah, my name is Ty. I go by Eldritch Mouse pretty much everywhere that you can find me. The easiest and quickest way to find me is in the Gem Room Games Discord. I will not respond except in the Gem Room Games Discord.
Wow, that's where you settled, huh?
Yeah, that's where I'm currently. I'm kind of like a digital nomad, and that's where I'm sort of posted up right now. I don't have any surviving characters, but I was donated one, thankfully. So I have Bulldozer 2, who discovered on the funnel mission that he was a brother to Bulldozer 1, who died heroically to save Bulldozer 2.
Yeah, right at the very end too. Like both bulldozers made it all the way down to the final little bit until Bulldozer 1 bit it, and that was a very, very dramatic moment.
It's probably worth pointing out why Ty's other character isn't here.
Right, yeah, I guess there was jitters, and he did drink from some sort of goblet, and then the chalice, and then sort of open a gateway to hell, I guess.
No, he became a gateway.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that you opened it; like you literally manifested the gate in some very impressive ways. So, you
didn't open the gateway as much as the gateway opened to you.
Right up.
All very true. Awesome. Well, I can't wait for everybody to step through Jitters. Jitters will be with us in spirit the entire time as the reason everybody's in hell, and so. Awesome. Let's pop over to Kegan. Kegan, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. Also, tell us a little bit about your character.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Kegan EXE. You can find me online at keganexe.com, and you can also find me in the Gym Rooms Game Discord. I'm playing Dark Sandy today, from the movie Grease, when she wears a leather jacket and she smokes cigarettes.
Awesome. And you also had original Sandy, but we don't know exactly what happened to... She was thrown in a van at some point in time.
Is presumably dead, but she could still be alive.
Well, yeah, we just don't.
She disappeared into a truck.
Awesome. And we're gonna have you on playing one of your upcoming games in a couple of weeks. You want to tell everybody about Dungeon Delver TV?
Yeah, we're playing it in 9 days. In fact. Yeah, it's my upcoming game. It's based on the same system this game is. I wasn't ready to talk about it. I don't have my thoughts together.
Well, we'll come back and talk about it at the end then. Let's pop up to
Cool.
Sara. Sara, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. Tell us about the character you're playing also.
My name is Sara Brunt. I co-write Planar Compass with DM Wilson. I have decided recently to describe Planar Compass as a Studio Ghibli movie with a Dio soundtrack. You can find me at Planar Compass on Twitter or at Sara Eliza Brunt on Twitter. And I'm playing Z10, who offered a chalice of Chex Notes human blood to Jitters. And then he became the gate through which we will go.
How are you feeling about that, Zed?
I mean, Zed doesn't really feel much for the people around him.
All right, there we go. And then let's pop over to Raph. Raph, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. You may want to unmute yourself also.
It's so much easier to be heard when you unmute. Although perhaps hell will seal my voice later. I'm Raph. I'm a UX and game designer. You might know me from The Zone, which is an Annihilation-style horror game you can play in your browser. And I am playing Duchess Reduction, who is one of a gaggle of andromorphs who were involved in a virtual reality educational accident that permanently rewrote their control mods, triggering a permanent collective hallucination and rewriting their personalities into the belief that they were all part of an extended royal family full of feuds and complications. And of course, this is now the only one who's left.
I totally forgot that entire.
Yeah,
it was so good. I forgot that entire thing. It was so good. All right.
Yes, Duchess Reduction is the one who survived.
With Duchess being the only one left alive, does that change Duchess's status at all?
Oh, I think an upgrade to whatever would be the ruler, the great ruler, great ruler reduction.
Awesome.
Grand Dam, I believe.
Grand Dam.
Grand Dam.
I'm updating. Grand Dam.
And y'all were all level 0 characters, which was the first time we had ever done that through the Void. If you want to go back and watch all that, you can. The Drain is an absolutely phenomenal module that brings 0 level concepts into the Mothership universe. You can actually use those if you're popping in right into the meat grinder. You can use those same ones, throw a bunch of people in, see what happens. Instead of that, we're going to have some Merkish Marines pop out of cryo freeze in just a second. So y'all, like I said, you just saw your friend Jitters turned in. Oh, wait, before we get started, sorry. We always use safety tools here on the channel. We did talk about them beforehand. We use lines, veils, and the X card. Currently, we have a line, as always, around sexual violence here on the stream. A couple caution warnings. We are going to a hell dimension where everything is made, for the most part, out of flesh of some sort, whether that's human, demonic, angelic, or otherwise. There's a lot of gross stuff. So if you have body issues, other things like that, we do have a veil on eye and tooth injuries. So we'll handle those just kind of with a light touch. And we do have, there are no children in hell. Just FYI. So just in case anybody was wondering, no peril to kids also. Does anybody else have any other lines or veils that they want to bring up on stream? Just remember, you also have the X card. We can always pause things at any moment in time. Say, oh, I don't like that. Please stop it. We can add them into the veil. We just need to pause, identify what the issue is, and we'll go forward in a different direction. Oh, wow. It is Dan Phipps of the Gym Rooms Game Discord. I love how my Discord is not the most popular Discord on this stream. It's okay. The Gym Room Games Discord is a phenomenal Discord to hang out in. Dan, somebody drop me a link to that, and I'll put it in the chat for everybody also, too. Drop it to me over on Discord so everybody can get in on the Gym Room Games action. But with that said, you guys watched your friend Jitter get turned into this thing. All of a sudden, there's a few moments of just silence as the nose cone, the command deck of the Drain, is now floating kind of freely, separate from the main body. And all of a sudden, you hear a bing, bong, boom. Greetings. This is Preco Command. It seems that you've made it to the end. Into the command center and recovered an artifact. Our sensors detect that in front of you there may be a portal shimmering in the middle of space. Would you like to proceed?
Yeah, I guess.
Do we want to talk before we go?
It sounds like we're supposed to. Yeah, we can talk.
Okay. All I want to say is that pulse rifle over there is mine.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like so I was gonna get to that. So like as you kind of ascent to a green behind you, like the command doors kind of like flex open into a large cargo hold, and inside, yes, there are a set of pulse rifles, a set of kind of 4 hanging hazmat suits, a pair of flamethrowers, and there's an ATV that can actually be driven forward into the command section. So if you there's all this extra equipment now that you have access to. So I know you guys had updated your computer. Did y'all decide who is getting what?
No, we were going to fight about it on stream.
Okay, great. So yeah, there's a pair of flamethrowers, a pair of pulse rifles. There's also 4 cryo tubes in the back of the room that seem to all of a sudden be rapidly approaching room temperature. So you can kind of smell the coolant leaking out of those, and you can hear kind of the hissing as they start to warm up. And it looks like there are 4 frozen figures inside.
I'm running for a flamethrower. It feels useful against a frozen figure.
Bulldozer 2 is going to run over to the ATV, ignoring the weapons, and just sort of like slap the gas tank and be like, "Oh man, we've got to take this into jitters."
And Grand Dame Reduction goes and sits in the passenger seat as if expecting to be driven, and haughtily looks around.
Is the Grand Dam like side saddling the ATV like a lady, or
is this like one of those like the front and the back seat? Yeah, definitely side saddling.
As you're side saddling, I guess I'm going to reach for the survey kit and field recorder and just sort of be handing them off to you and being like, yeah, just make sure these are stowed away really well. Everything we take needs to be packed well if we're going on a trip. You didn't know this, but I'm actually an avid explorer and adventurer. That's something I'm kind of into.
Slightly flustered at this lack of decorum, Grand Dame Reduction does accept, and starts kind of packing the stuff. Not very well, though. Some of it is probably going to fall. Probably the most important.
Bulldozer does not notice that you're packing it terribly.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I usually have people pack things for me,
I like how you guys were like, we're going to fight on it in stream, but so far everybody's just been super, super polite.
Are we at all? There's like a pitchforked mob, right? Like in the pre. Are we under any time pressure from the previous?
You don't
I
seem
feel
to
like
be.
the cockpit was closed off.
Yeah,
it was closed off, right?
Yeah, y'all. Once you made it through, you were able to seal the compartment behind you. So there, though you and you actually y'all kind of disconnected, so y'all are kind of freely floating separately from the rest of the drain and the Preco derelict now. So
we're chilling.
Yeah,
great.
There are these decompressed. There are these people waking up out of cryo suspension, but other than that, y'all are alone.
Do we still have our collars and our halos?
You do still have your collars and your halos on. Also, though it was a very polite kind of genial tone, it does look like there's an open comm link that you can speak into to talk to the people at Preco directly.
Oh, cool. Well, we got your chalice thing. Can we get these collars off?
Absolutely. If you'd like, we could actually hire you for a small task and release the collars all at the same time.
It doesn't really seem optional.
What's the payout?
We'll pay you 250 credits each to go into the portal of your friend prisoner, and then he lists off a long stream of letters and numbers.
UTC code.
Yeah. If you go into them and explore around and report back your findings, we'll give you 250 credits each. We also have a few of our upper level management employees who will be joining you on the expedition. With that said, the cryo tubes kind of end up like fully like warming up, and you hear this like the sliding of glass, and again more decompressing kind of cold steam behind you, as all of a sudden four incredibly well muscled figures in full body armor kind of appear in these empty cryo tubes behind you. Does anybody want to tell us what their marine looks like?
Yeah.
Or
so my
what
marine
it says
has
on their name tag?
Like solid green armor, a big green helmet, and they have just a little name tag that says, "Hello, my name is John Halo."
They actually all of the name badges are like you would see at a Unitarian church's like welcome table. Like they are the "Hello, my name is." They're embroidered. They're full on.
Wait a minute.
Like,
They're not masking tape on the bottom of a casserole
no,
dish?
this is high class. They spared no expense for this event, and so it is "Hello, my name is," John Halo.
Z10 is putting on the body armor that we acquired, or hazmat suits.
Hazmat
I
suits.
didn't write down the hazmat suit, shouldering his pulse rifle, and he points at the mercenary with the "Hello, my name is Sergeant Himbo Pew Pew," and says, "That one's for me."
Excellent. So you claim Himbo Pew Pew
Sergeant.
as your friend.
And I'll claim. The third soldier comes into view from out of the mist, and same outfit as the others, except they've got Office Space levels of flair. Just badges, like patches. That's just Cal Pack Rat Flop Man reporting for duty, showing off all their accomplishments.
Cal Pack Rat Flop Man.
That's right.
Awesome.
Goes by Pack Rat.
I decided, by the way, anybody's wondering, I decided I didn't want to run 4 NPC Marines, and so I just said each of you has a Marine also to everybody earlier. And Ty, what does the last Marine look like?
The last Marine steps out of the cooling mist, and he has a little bit less armor on. He has camo short shorts, but they have like the Halo plating armor on them, so they are safe. And then he has like big combat boots on, and he's ripped, and that's it. That's all he's wearing, by the way. And he looks like Arnold going for like a bodybuilding competition. He's oiled up. He's greasy, and his name tag is just stuck to his bare pec, and it is "Hello, my name is Beefcake Beach Bod."
We definitely worked on these characters together, as you can tell.
There's some themes running through each one. So yeah, you guys each have your Marine accompaniment. I'm going to let you control them for the most part. If something comes up that I need to take control of one for a second, I might, but for the most part, they're your secondary PC, which is just a good backup in case something happens. Or if you want to throw them at stuff first, you can do that too. Each of them should have medium armor, which is going to give you in Through the Void. Basically, you can re-roll a defense roll twice, is what you'll be able to do with that. They can have a flamethrower or a pulse rifle, either one, as well as what I think I called a combat machete, which is just a normal machete, but sounds fancier. And so who amongst you, we know Bulldozer 2 hopped on the ATV, and we know the Grand Dam is sitting sights up behind them. Did y'all take any of the other weapons or grab anything else?
If nobody grabs a second weapon, you can also grab a pulse rifle.
So you got flamethrower in one hand, pulse rifle in the other?
Yeah, I have a pulse rifle in one and a flamethrower in the other.
Nice. I'll grab the second flamethrower then, and just look at the Duchess reduction and say, "Stay behind me, ma'am." It seems like Bulldozer is sort of trying to impress the Marines. Is what the general vibe is.
Awesome.
Yeah, reduction just kind of nods regally.
And then I spend 20 minutes trying to start the ATV.
I think after
Sandy knows how to start it and isn't helping.
Yeah, after 5 minutes, I think Beefcake walks over and just hits a button right in the middle that's like a very much has an ignition symbol on the middle of it, and it just roars to life.
Thanks, Beefcake.
No problem.
Sarah, what did Zed grab?
Zed took the pulse rifle.
Okay.
And just like some my brain is just not engaging on the hazmat suit. That's it.
Okay. Cool.
He's just thinking he's made of carbon and steel. He's not thinking about the fact that he only has 1 hit point. He's just thinking that he's a robot.
You should have normal hit points now. Also, too.
Normal hit points now.
So what's your primary stat, or if you're tied, the highest one?
Aha! Never mind. That's
Because you used to be a level 0 something, and now you're a level 1.
Yeah, now I put 1 level in recon and 1 level in merc.
Okay, so you should have 5 hit points now.
Did anyone else?
It says
just, like,
mech there, not
green
merc.
missiles?
Does it?
You know what? I printed out old. Did either there's a typo or I printed out old copies?
No, the new one said mech too. I
Okay.
pointed out pre-stream and forgot.
Well then, now I've got so many hit points.
Making a note.
Z10 is feeling really good about this.
All right. There we go.
Actually, he's not. He doesn't have feelings. Changed my mind.
So y'all all get kind of settled and situated as you gear up, introduce yourself to your Preco upper echelon Marine executives, and do you have a marching order as you're going through the jitter portal?
Bulldozer would like to take the ATV through last, but he accidentally guns it, and we're going through first.
Oh man, my Preco himbo was supposed to go in first.
I'll take
He's
the
the
rear.
sergeant.
Me and the Master Chief will take up the rear.
Z10 and the Preco himbo will try to make up time.
Cool, awesome. As you go into the portal is surrounded by Jitter's bones and kind of wrapped in his skin as they expanded into this kind of gold glowing light with almost flickering flames behind it. As you hit the portal, you almost feel yourself like squeezed in, almost as if there's pressure all around you. And the pressure feels wet and liquid. Ties, you enter first. It's hard to see anything. What does it smell like?
I think it smells like old cigars, half smoked in an ashtray, and I think it smells like that because that was Jitter's favorite pastime.
Awesome. Kegan, as your character makes it in, as Dark Sandy makes it in, they accidentally open their mouth a little bit while they're in there. What does it taste like?
You know, you like bite your tongue and just like irony blood.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. As you're kind of getting like you feel yourself almost pulled and stretched thin, and then you feel something almost wrapping around you. As you come out on the other side, jitters you first, with Grandam like right behind you. Y'all find yourselves choking and unable to breathe as you've been wrapped in a giant amniotic sac, and all you can see through this kind of translucent yellowish thing is just vague shapes beyond that. But what do you...
Duchess is literally saying the same thing back to Bulldozer 2.
Okay.
And I'm flailing. I'm just flailing. Like, I have, let's see. I'm looking at what I have. I think it just hits me that I have absolutely nothing that I could use to cut this thing. Nothing.
Are you trying to force your way out of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, just make a D20. Just make a D20 roll for me. Straight up and down. I mean, this would be Merc, but you don't have any, so. Or add Merc if you have any, I guess I should say. I don't know.
I rolled a 3.
Yeah, you're having a really hard time bursting out of this sack.
Here's
We'll
where the Grand Duchess dies.
We'll come back to y'all in just 1 second. Kegan, as Dark Sandy comes out, you find yourself same situation though by yourself, like wrapped up tightly in this amniotic sac covered in fluid. It kind of stretches as you push against it, but doesn't immediately burst.
Unlike everybody else, Dark Sandy still has a tuna knife on her. So I just sliced the sack open.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you pull it out. It cuts through like easily. All of a sudden you burst out. You've got amniotic fluid kind of dripping all over your body. And as you look around you, you can see that there are like you're surrounded by these walls of like flesh that looks like it's got cancerous tumors kind of popping out. There's this kind of bone spire wrapping up in the middle, and all around you there are bodies being kind of dropped out of these things. You can see this large sack in front of you, but it looks like there's all these other bodies that are popping out of other holes. You see 3 other ones kind of in each of the cardinal directions, it seems like, all around you that are kind of falling into the middle of this crevasse and kind of sliding around on top of other bodies, some of which are just dead, having died inside these sacks. Zed, you're going to slide out next.
Z10 is alone in his sack.
Correct.
Yes?
Yeah.
All right, then he's going to start like thinking about, like, he's after pushing it and discovering that it's like a balloon. He's going to probably, I'm going to say that as a robot, he's got pointy elbows. And he's going to like try really hard to like cut it open with one of his metal body parts.
Sure. Make a merc roll for me.
That's a 20, right?
A D20 plus, yeah, whatever your mark is.
Seven.
Okay. You're starting to freak out a little bit because as you push against this, like it's not giving. Raph, Duchess is kind of freaking out. Ty, you're what is Bulldozer 2 trying to do?
Bulldozer 2 is going to start freaking out, and I'm just going to start smacking the ignite switch on the flamethrower to try to burn my way out. It's not gas, right?
It's not. So you're like jamming down on this, and you don't really sense anything happening like as you're doing it. Each of you guys make kind of a wisdom a tech roll for me. Trying to remember what the rolls are in this.
Do
one.
I need to make this?
Oh no, sorry. Only the 2 people stuck in the one giant amniotic sac together who haven't gotten their together.
Gotcha.
Oh no, and also Zed, go ahead and make one for me too.
I got a 19.
I got a 15. Do I add my level to this as well, or is it just the raw roll?
If you have any tech, then yes, you do.
I got a 5.
Yeah, and it's 17.
Okay.
17.
So you're starting to like breathe this stuff in, and Zed, and it's like, but your body doesn't know how to take this liquid in, so you're starting to suffocate. Grandam, you kind of realize like you've got to do something to pierce this, or otherwise force your way out of this physically, and so like you're able to kind of keep your wits. Ty, how did you do?
19.
You realize you could probably just gun this ATV forward, and it may just drag you both out.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm just gonna gun it.
All right. So you gun it forward, and all of a sudden, like y'all rip out of this thing. Y'all, the Marines come through. You see them kind of casually just like slicing themselves out of their amniotic sacs with their machetes. But you see that Zed is over on the ground, like starting to convulse.
I'll run over there and get Zed. Sounds like I was probably out of the sack first.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'll run over there and slice them out.
So you just kind of cut them out. They spill out on the ground. The floor is covered in innards. You can hear the sound of wailing behind you, and the building itself seems to be kind of starting to shake and rumble around you. These cancerous pustules that cover all these kind of like flesh-lined walls that open up into the sky, and there's this kind of bone spire in the back. They all seem to be kind of undulating and starting to like surge as you see this like dark, brackish black blood come to the surface behind each one.
God, I love a good bone spire.
You said that there was a bunch of other people coming out of other portals.
Yeah, so there are some that you seem like they may have already been here. There's a lot of dead bodies just around you on the ground. It's kind of stuck in these amniotic sacs. But you also can see that there is like other people who are out there kind of wailing. Some of them are like casting prayers into the sky, lamenting their situation. They all seem to be nude, and for the most part, like lots of them, like their hair is matted down. There's a mix of like blood and fecal matter kind of smearing their bodies. But there are other people around. Yes.
Would any of us have noticed the mercs just casually going through like they might have seen this schnitzel before?
They don't seem like they've seen, like they're taking in their surroundings. They're not just like
Okay.
walking off.
Okay.
They seem prepared to be like, oh, I'm stuck inside of something. I should cut myself out of
So
this.
they're competent.
They're
it's not
competent,
recon.
is really what it comes down to. Yes, this is not like, oh, we've done this every Thursday. Like you know, they were gasping for air a little bit also too. They're definitely taking in their surroundings and form kind of a defensive position, but like they're not, we know what's going on mode. Let's go this way.
So I think so the Dame Reduction has escaped on the, you know, we're on the back of the ATV. The ATV is kind of made it out, right? And so,
Yes, y'all have pulled. You're basically like ripped out of your amniotic sac as you pulled forward.
So I am pissed off. This is absolutely disgraceful treatment of a member of royalty, and so I think after a moment of shock, Grand Dame Reduction kind of composes herself, gets off the back of the ATV, walks over to one of the worshippers, grabs them up by the shoulders, and just starts like shaking them and going, "Where the hell are we?"
So as you're doing that, for anybody else, you can see that there's like this black blood that's been surging. All of these kind of like holes that people have been sliding out of in these sacks, that same black brackish blood is starting to seep out of each of those holes, and the pulsating is increasing in these tumors all around you. And you pick up this person, you shake them, and they, you know, like they're kind of wailing and lamenting, but as soon as you say like, "Where the hell are we?" they just like stop and seem to snap out of it and stare right at you, and then they just say yes, and then they like wrench their head sideways and like go lifeless in your arms.
They're just dead.
Yeah, they essentially like they snapped their own neck. Yeah.
It's how insolent. It flings them down to the ground. Try with the next one. Look around at the rest of the group, just like, who are these idiots? I say that out loud, by the way.
Yeah. I think I'm going to ignore the comment. Just announce to the group that we should probably get out of here.
But out of here to where?
I don't know, the Bone Spire.
Well, the Bone Spire is just in the back of the building. Like there's this crevasse that kind of leads away from it. As you look at the inside of this thing, it reminds you of almost a grotesque kind of cathedral shape. But instead of there being stained glass or anything, it's just this these tendrils of flesh kind of crossing over, and through those you can see a dark reddish blackish sky above you. And so there's but there is kind of an exit point away from the Bone Spire.
Okay, I'll point at the exit spot then.
I'm gonna hop in the ATV.
Yeah, I guess Dutch just hopped off, so there's an open spot. It doesn't look like we can get everyone on the ATV, right?
No, it is definitely a spot. It's a half track. There's enough space for 2 people on it.
No, I'm gonna hop off. I want to be closer to my merc.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm gonna gesture for Beefcake to hop on and say, "I'll give you a ride. We should get moving towards the exit, everybody. Someone else want to take point?
Get those 250 credits.
Get this collar off.
Oh, as you look down, the collars are gone. Like at some point in the process, they released.
I admire my steel neck.
Excellent. It's a beautiful steel neck. So you as you kind of come out of this church, pulling the ATV forward kind of slowly with the rest of you walking up behind it, you find yourself do what?
Sorry. Do we have to are we driving over a bunch of bodies and stuff?
So as you kind of look down, you get about 10 yards and you look back and you realize, yeah, absolutely, there have been some bodies that you've gone over. That's what those bumps were. But then as you look closer, the ground itself seems to be made of reddish flesh-like material. So is it good to drive over people? No. Either way, you're driving on top of flesh. And so how you feel about that is up to your character. And so you come out, you kind of see, you look, there's this huge expansive plateau in front of you. You can see there's these places where this black kind of craggy rock erupts from it. But for the most part, it looks like it's covered in this thick layer of this red fleshy substance. There are these kind of tumorous growths that pop out in a number of different places. There's something in the distance that looks kind of like reddish brownish grass over a second, and then long tracks of kind of veiny looking rivers that seem to have different liquids flowing through them. There's a giant kind of jutting rib cage out with something golden and shining at the top, and then a section of the flesh kind of in front of you off in the distance looks kind of darkened. There is also a giant structure in the middle that seems to have some sort of factory placed in the middle of it, and a large, kind of similar to what you just came out of, a large kind of cathedral-like structure, but it's more rounded and it's about 3 times the size. That's off in the distance as well. And so you kind of take in this horrible structure with this large factory kind of dominating the skyline. There's the sky as it moves away from where the cathedral is, you realize that black reddish substance was just smoke coming out of this factory. And there's these kind of yellowish pus colored sky spots that are breaking through. And that there's beneath at the base of the bones, there's kind of this almost golden liquid that reminds you of the color of the blood once it was poured into the goblet that Jitters drank out of.
I hate it here. Let's
leave. Can we leave?
Yeah, I think our mission was to come see things and then leave. So, John Halo, can we get out of here?
That you know what, that was the deal. It doesn't seem like a bad idea. And then Let's get
back in the sacks.
John Halo goes to turn around, and all of a sudden, you watch as the structure of this cathedral almost melts and starts to extrude out each of the different holes that y'all had come in through, as the entire space behind you starts to fall apart, and the bone spire starts to weave kind of back and forth in the air as it starts to look like it's slowly crumbling. Somebody make a D6 roll for me. Just one person roll a D6.
3.
It looks like it's coming towards y'all, but it's going to miss you. So it's following your direction, the bone spire, but it doesn't look like it's going to land directly on top of you. So yeah, I don't know that that back is a way to go.
It feels like we should have had a second escape plan. In retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
It's
even kind of just the first one, because
yeah.
Well, it seems like
I'm thinking this wasn't a good deal for us.
Yeah, how much is 250 creds again? It's like
I think for
like an
production
energy
just-
drink or something.
I mean, for somebody who just got out of prison, 250 creds is not a bad deal. I'm just saying.
Nice.
For anybody who wasn't just getting out of prison.
Right. Well, it seems like hell is going through a little bit of like an industrial revolution here.
It's true.
Looks like we could investigate that, but there's also that. You guys don't know this about me, but I really like shiny things, and there was something shiny up in those bones that we saw. Right? Is that right?
It's the only thing I wrote down. Shiny thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's some kind of like the at the top of the bones. There's this big shiny thing. The liquid below it seems pretty shiny. Even a lot of the kind of bone spires that you like, the bone spire looked like it had some things that were kind of glittering on it higher up also too. So there are a number of shiny things around.
Okay, well, do we feel like something shiny gets us out of here?
Wait, was the portal that we entered shiny?
Was the goblet that we used to open the portal shiny?
It was more bony, but it wasn't.
Tony,
It was.
can
It
you
was
name
kind of a
every shiny
luminescent
object we've
bone.
seen?
Do
Well,
I could name
definitely
every
Beefcake's
shiny object you've
pecs.
seen in order that you've seen them.
Anything we mouse over that glitters must mean we can interact with it.
Actually, his pecs probably are shiny because of the amniotic fluid still on them.
Yeah, and he
absolutely.
was pre-oiled too, so it's like it's kind of mixing together.
Yeah,
now.
out of everybody, Beefcake seems to have fared the best of not having just like strands of amniotic sac kind of hanging off of them. Like that oil did a good job of just like letting everything kind of pass over.
That's impressive.
All right.
Yeah, I want to get closer to the shiny thing and the factory thing, but I'm only going if we take our mercs with us.
Yeah, I mean the mercs kind of seem like they're gonna stick with you. Like they're not like, hey, we're just gonna hang out here, or whatever. Like
What
y'all,
if we just
y'all have
hang out
fun.
here and let the
Send
mercs
them.
go get it?
But yeah, y'all are yeah. If you said you want to head towards the big shiny thing at the top of the bone structure far away, is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
feels
want
like
to get
going
closer to that for sure.
Sure.
A pack rat doesn't make a big deal about it, but they look down at their bandolier of flair, and there's just a hole. Only they know that that's where you would put the found shiny thing flair that they haven't earned yet.
Oh, well, there you go.
This is personal for them.
So you can like there are people kind of scattering from this wreckage. There's a couple people who have stuck around and are still like wailing at the sky also too. But as you kind of leave out, you head into the area in front of you. You see those between you and basically anywhere you want to go. There are those meandering veins that are flowing out of that big red thing that are off to your left as you look forward, and that seem to be flowing across over to be decaying and wretched. That have it looks you can definitely make out what looks like blood flowing through some of them, but the coloration on some of these other tributaries seems wrong. As you kind of make your way forward, you notice that brownish reddish substance that was popping out seems to be hair that's kind of parodying grass as it kind of flows through, which you can only describe as a breeze that's kind of like a hot moist breath across the surface of this landscape. There's like I said, there's a number of these kind of veins crisscrossing in front of you. You'll have to cross over them or head around kind of that dark area or over to that big kind of round, newer, bigger looking cathedral-like structure if you want to avoid them.
Okay, well, the last weird cathedral structure wasn't that bad. Just like fell apart, but we were fine. So I vote we go that direction.
Yeah, if you want to follow a river, just follow it upstream to where the streams are getting bigger. Try and get back to the source.
Yeah, as a avid explorer, that's what I was about to say. So that's good advice. Let's go towards the cathedral.
Awesome.
Does
I agree.
it look like we could ford the river, or is it like deep?
You know, I don't
Cock
know
the ATV.
I don't know the last time you looked in a river of blood, but it's a little
Because
hard
of the
to
color,
judge.
it's hard to see.
It's hard to judge
Right.
the depth.
Yeah.
There also, as you get closer and you kind of look in, you can see like chunks of flesh pop up. Like every once in a while, you see, you see an eyeball that nothing happens to pop out and go back in real quick. Like you see a skeletal hand like just kind of floating down, connected to something underneath the water there. So I mean, there's stuff in there. But in the current seems to be fairly strong as you take a look at it.
Cool. Yeah.
I think we're
we should
inside of a giant person, and they're not doing well.
Yeah, I don't think hair's supposed to grow on the inside. That's definitely an indicator of problems.
I always like to describe a like really muggy, nasty day as being inside of a dog's mouth, but here we are.
So you, like I said, you kind of take this in. You do in the distance see like, it looks like there's kind of like pipes and like maybe some sort of engine or pump that are connected to some of these things sporadically along the ground. And then there's also like in the distance, you do see what looks like a couple of like boats that are floating on some of the larger sections of these veiny rivers.
What would it take for us to get one of those boats?
You'd have to get near one, for sure. That happened. And then you have to figure out what's on the boat and if they would take you or not. But I mean, you can get through some of these smaller tributaries without much of an issue. It's going to be like as far as just maybe jumping over them. But you can tell that pretty quickly you're going to find yourself surrounded by larger veins going through all this thing.
Does this mean we should Bulldozer, do you think that the all-terrain vehicle will make it through this terrain or no?
You're muted.
Yeah, the thing about that is if this is terrain, we can get through it. All terrain, right? I mean, that's what that means. There's
That
no
is what that
limitations.
means.
So as long as this is terrain, we can get through it.
Is it terrain? We're not sure, but
I
That's
guess
what
it's
gets
sort of
complicated.
it's a sort of a test. If we get through it, it's terrain. If it's not terrain.
Are the tires
only-
rated for flesh? I don't know.
Some of there's a big clump of hair nearby you and you kind of see it shaking off to the side, like no longer in accordance with this breeze, but kind of shifting.
Oh, bulldozer flamethrowers that.
My friend Frenchie said hair's not supposed to do that.
Go ahead and make a merc roll. Are you just like holding it down and just like blasting on this thing, or are you just giving it a spurt?
I'll give it an exploratory spurt of flame, just to see what comes out.
Sure. So it's a big clump of hair. You hit it. All of a sudden, like it bursts into flame, and these two kind of elephantine like tick-like creatures scatter out and run the opposite direction.
is it elephantine? Like the size of elephants, or just kind of like elephants?
Kind of like they've got a long proboscis. They look like ticks, but they've got a long proboscis kind of on the front of them. They are somewhere between an elephant and a tick size.
That clears it.
Like most things.
They are definitely they are let's say they're like large hound size, so like Saint Bernard sized, so not small in any way, shape, or form.
But not quite big enough to be ridden.
Ooh, I mean, I always wanted to raise Saint Bernards because I always thought they would make great riding pets for my children.
If I could ride that dog.
But I don't know
do you
how
think
big
we-
any of y'all are.
Dana, come here. I want to prove a point. No, I don't think we can ride him. She won't get up. Bone day rules.
No bones.
No
Yep.
bones.
I think as we look around, we do see it is in fact a bones day.
Bone Spire Day.
Bones are a big part of what you're seeing around you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess next time if we see the hair movie and we just give it a full blast, and because I didn't like looking at those things, but yeah, I think we should just carry on to the objective, and then I'll look at the mercs to see if they like that sort of talk.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, not what I was expecting.
So do y'all wanted to, you said towards the objective, do y'all want to go down kind of towards this darker decaying area, which is closer to where these ribs are coming out with the giant golden thing at the top? Or do you want to go the other direction? It does seem like, that these veins are running down towards this kind of dark, what looks like decaying cancerous section. So that's downstream. Upstream would be towards this big kind of rounded flesh mound that looks very similar, like a larger version of what y'all just came out of. So which direction you want to head, upstream or downstream, or forward
Upstream
across
towards the
these?
cathedral.
Upstream towards the cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys are making your way kind of that direction, you can notice the ATV is starting to pick up, like it's kind of tearing into the flesh with this track. And you can see that there's flesh starting to kind of gather up around the back track, and it looks like it may have to be cleared on a fairly regular basis. It's not a problem now, but it could be a problem in the future. And so you're kind of making your way that way. Somebody roll a D6 for me.
2.
When all of a sudden you come across and you find yourself kind of in an area surrounded by a bunch of these same kind of taller hair clumps that are shifting around you.
You said we're surrounded by more hair clumps?
Yeah, like the bigger, taller ones that don't seem to be shifting with this kind of heavy, like hot, breathy breeze.
Okay.
What happens if we do nothing and just kind of try to drive past them, or walk drive? If our fellowship decides to continue,
It's a choice you make.
You know what?
Sergeant?
I saw Bulldozer give him a little blast earlier, so I'm gonna full blast one of the big ones
Okay.
with the flamethrower.
So you're just putting it down. Are you just gonna burn through all the fuel here and just take these things out?
Well, when you put it that way, no.
I guess my question is, like, are you making like controlled bursts repeatedly, or are you just pressing down and depressing it
repeatedly?
Okay. So you're kind of like, each one of these. Go ahead and make a merc roll for me.
Cool. That's 11.
So you let the first one go, and all of a sudden, like there's one that bursts out of that bush and kind of runs in the opposite direction. But as you do that, you see two kind of start sliding back on the other side, coming up where the Grand Dame is on the far side of the kind of your group from you. So Grand Dame, go ahead and roll initiative for me for the group.
remind me how I do that.
D6, and then you 4, 5, 6. You're going to go first. 1, 2, 3. They're going to go first.
Okay. So I rolled a 3.
Okay. Does anybody have any abilities they want to trigger before I?
Can I override that because I've got combat ready?
Sure. So you're going to use combat readiness to go ahead and win initiative. So since you were combat ready, what are you doing as you see these two tick-sized anteatery St. Bernard-sized tick anteater elephant creatures kind of coming in on the Grand Dame?
Sergeant Himbo Pew Pew is going to fulfill his tutelar role. He's going to do what he does best, and he's going to pew pew. He's going to train his pulse rifle on the one that's nearest to the Grand Dame, and he's going to fire.
Okay. Roll a merc roll for me.
14.
So you see Pew Pew line up his shot. He pews, and you watch the phosphorus bullet kind of rip through this thing's like hardened exoskeleton as it wails the wail of a it's not one, but if it wails the wail of a small child and collapses to the ground.
How do the other there's more than one, right? How do they react to that?
It shrieks in response also too, and all of a sudden you hear shrieking coming from each of these bushes, and they start shaking more violently as you start to see forms emerge from each one.
Great. Love to hear that.
But y'all have initiative, so I mean it's still y'all's action before they get a chance to do anything.
Z10's gonna pull the same stunt, and he's gonna shoot one.
Okay, go ahead and make your merc roll.
7.
All right, so his Zed's shot goes wide. There's still a little bit of amniotic fluid like hanging down and like sac hanging down in front of your eye. It was throwing your aim off. So Miss Kegan.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand Grand Dam Reduction a flamethrower because I did take 2 weapons. And now Sandy will take her pulse rifle and aim it at one of the weird creature things.
Okay.
And that's a 19.
That is going to hit. Yeah, you see your bullet just kind of slam into this thing, and you can actually like watch the cracks spread out around the impact zone. You can see like steam as the phosphorus from your bullet starts to burn inside of this thing's body. It shrieks also and drops to the ground.
Okay, cool.
This one sounds more like an elderly woman, but I mean it's it's still pretty distinct. I watched a video today earlier on how like all mooks and things are oftentimes portrayed as men because that we're more easily able to palate men getting horribly hurt and screaming from now on.
Tony said for equality, we're going to kill women. Only here on +1, everyone.
We're not going to kill. They're going to sound like it's just.
Okay.
They just sound girly when they die.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, have these things actually attacked us?
Nope.
So I think is it okay if I go?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm thinking like taming wild horses on the grounds of her estate, and turns around to the rest of the group, brandishes the flamethrower, and then just like slings it onto her back. Like it's still got a sling, right? So it's like on her back now. She's not holding it. She like puts her hands out and just starts like walking very slowly towards one of the creatures, as if to say, "Look, like it's okay." And her intention is to get real close and then to just like rodeo that thing into submission, and then ride it the next of the way while establishing dominance over all of them and establishing safe passage for the rest of us. Which is clearly how that works in the animal kingdom. And with horses.
This approach is like. Is this approach like cool, collected?
Yes, it's cool. It's collected.
Make a medic roll for me.
So I have no medic skills.
So just a flat D20.
Yep. Natural 2.
So you you do that, like it's getting closer, like it's like your hands up. It's like proboscis is like right up next to you. And we'll come back to that in just a second. Ty, did you already go, or are you still holding on?
Yeah, so Beefcake is gonna pulse rifle out, is gonna unload onto the one the Grand Duchess is trying. Well, no, that's too close. It's friendly fire. So Beefcake will just target a random one in any direction.
Cool. So for the most part, you're like seeing their bodies sort of come out. You had a flamethrower, right?
Beefcake has a pulse rifle.
Beefcake has a pulse rifle. So you're pointing at one of where it's going to come out. Yeah, go ahead and make the merc roll for me.
Yeah, 17.
17. So yeah, you don't actually even see it, but you just sense one, like you watch like a compression happen in one of these clumps of hair as you hear another scream. This one's a deep bass of a really manly man
Oh,
come
wow.
out of the
Oh, goodness.
sounds like Sergeant Beefcake just got shot.
Oh, no,
almost.
Beefcake!
That just sounds like it. They're fine as they drop to the ground. All of you also can activate your Marines also too whenever.
Oh,
you go,
great.
too, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Are there still more of these things to shoot?
You can't. Only the one next to Grand Dame is the only one that's in sight right now.
I feel like the thing John Halo would do in this situation is stab the one next to Grand Dame.
Sure.
Like this is what we do when we meet new species.
We kill it.
Yeah.
Make your merc roll for me.
It's a 12.
Cool. So you like right as Grand Dame is getting ready to like have her hand pierced by the proboscis of one of these things, like John Halo swoops in and just like lops its nose off, and it like squeals in anger and like turns towards John Halo. I think we've got one more Marine that needs to
Pack
go.
Rat. I think at this point, Pack Rat is also, I mean, Marine's gonna Marine, pulse rifles, just whales.
Cool. Make a merc roll.
All right. Merc roll, 20.
So you so have you used any abilities yet?
I have not.
Okay. So you would normally recharge an ability on a critical success, however you haven't used any. So so you shoot through this thing, so it gets chopped, it squeals, it rears up, and Pack Rat shoots right into this thing's body. And you can kind of sense that like the motion around you has stilled a little bit, but you do know that there are some other ones nearby. They've just stopped coming out now.
Okay,
Pack Rat
let's
gets a
get
Sharpie
moving.
out and increments a mark on one of his flares just underneath his left shoulder. It's like a bug on it.
Back away from you.
Bulldozer is going to not gushing the ATV forward to see if they'll let us go. So I will doze the way.
Sure. So as you move forward, is everybody else going to try to move into step behind the ATV, kind of
Absolutely.
in jog mode? Cool. So
Yeah.
as you move forward, like you can kind of sense them tracking you for a little bit, but then as the size of the hair kind of decreases as you've kind of moved your way up towards it, they kind of drop off. It seems like they don't like to leave the longer hair. And so they kind of fall back after a couple minutes of y'all moving ahead. Yeah, so you're coming up. You pass some of these kind of pipes and pumps as you're going. It looks like as you get closer to them that it seems like they're pulling some of the different materials like out of these veins as they go. Like it's sucking out. It looks like almost filtering some of this biomatter as you make your way kind of upstream against the current. And you start to come up on this. I scrolled way too far down. Hold on. As you come up on this large cathedral-like substance, it's looks like it's almost got these kind of like long IV lines shoved into it. The blood here is brighter. It doesn't have the same kind of darkness to it that the other one did. You don't see anywhere near as many of those like cancerous tumor-like pustules on the outside of it. But it's you can hear now the screams of the damned kind of lamenting and yelling inside. At the other place where y'all came out, they seemed to be yelling prayers, and though there was a lot of lamenting, there was none of the stark screams of pain and horror that you're hearing come out of this place. But it does have a similar look to it, with, like I said, these these IV lines kind of poking into it also.
Hmm.
Z10 just says, it's unsettling how fresh this flesh seems.
Right. Good observation, Z10.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Bulldozer just says this place seems worse than before.
I thought it was gonna be more of the same. Maybe I think this is just a pit stop. We just keep going towards the shiny thing.
Y'all did cut like the opposite direction entirely.
I was gonna say-
of the shiny thing.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oops.
It's fine.
I didn't have a good mental.
I will say
vision of
though,
the map.
as you kind of get up into this area, you do notice like the ATV, the tracks have just become worked up with all the flesh, and it's going to take a little bit of time to clear those out.
Sandy, I think it's because you are attracted to darkness, not to shiny.
I'll think about that.
I think something to unpack there.
I'm absolutely not going to unpack that.
So, Raph, you all of a sudden the Duchess hears a voice screaming inside that she recognizes from her life. Who is it, and what are they saying?
I think it's the one friend amongst the Andromorphs who did not decide to take part in the educational experience that turned them into hallucinating fake royals. Her twin sister.
What's her twin sister's name?
Oh, it's just like super normal name. Just Sam.
Okay, cool. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So you
Jennifer.
Yeah, you hear Jennifer crying out inside, asking for someone to save them.
I think, Duchess it's like this is a voice that she never thought she would ever hear again. They became estranged after she and the others fell into that hallucination, and they haven't spoken for 16 years. Like she thought it was just never going to be a thing, especially here. So she hears that voice through the flesh. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, like you kind of hear it like pouring out from the inside. Actually, as you come up closer, you can see that there's like a giant trowel, like at this deep hole or bowl that's like capturing all these souls as they spill out of this orifice, just like the one that y'all came in through. But they're falling into this giant kind of like bowl, and there are these figures that are just kind of like reaching into them and pulling out different people and then just dropping them on this this processing line as they get kind of pulled along into like this butchering line.
And where exactly does the voice sound like it's coming from?
In the bowl.
In the bowl.
Yeah. What is everybody else doing?
So this sounds like you said it was like a big machine doing this.
No, it's all made out of flesh, so but so it's actually like this orifice that everybody is all these people are falling out to. They're falling down into this kind of like hardened like bone bowl down below, and there are these giant creatures standing next to it that are reaching in, pulling some off and putting them on this like long like it looks like it's ligaments instead of rubber stretched over like bone spools of assembly line that they're, as they go down, they're hemmed in kind of by electric wires that kind of pulsate almost like nerve endings, and there's grinding machinery sounds and screaming coming from the far end of it.
Okay, so we should stop that.
I'm pulling chunks of flesh out of the ATV, and I'm like, "What's that? We should stop something."
I mean, just to be clear, like Grand Dame is like, this is not a cool moment in like she is shell shocked by this. So she just begins like slowly walking towards it, you know? Doesn't really know what she wants to do, but she has to follow that voice.
As go ahead.
Z10's just a
Followed
little
by
bit
background.
aloof about caring about humans, and a bowl full of souls doesn't quite compute to him. So he's probably helping dig out the ATV as well.
Okay.
I think that Pew Pew is probably more concerned
Okay.
than Z10 even remotely is.
As Pew Pew makes their way kind of following Grandam towards the bowl, who does Pew Pew see from their past in the bowl?
I think that he sees his childhood friend Boomsmith.
Boo.
That's Bimbo Boom Boom.
Bimbo boom.
Bimbo Boom Boom. Boom Boom will do.
Pew pew and boom boom.
Pew Pew and Boom Boom.
So you see Boom Boom in there. Boom Boom kind of like makes eye contact with you across the void of space before a hand reaches in, like this giant hand pierces into their flesh and drops their body onto this line.
All right, Pew Pew's gonna break into a run.
Cool.
As Bulldozer 2 is seeing this all happen and sort of putting two and two together, he looks up and he's like, wait a second, I lost a brother today, and is going to like run towards this and sort of shout out, Bulldozer 1, are you in there?
I think hearing the screams, I think Grand Dame also starts screaming. I feel like we all just start screaming like the names of our loved ones, you know? It's like, Sam, Jennifer, are you there?
And then Bulldozer 1.
Boom Boom.
Sam, Jennifer.
Was Bulldozer
Boom,
1?
boom.
Whose character was Bulldozer 1 originally? Was that one of yours, Ty?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
fine.
Samantha Jennifer.
We'll just flash over, like all of a sudden, like Ty, you see through the eyes of Bulldozer 1 again. They're way further down this line, and all of a sudden their back gets speared through by this giant bone spear as they're pulled up into the air on this kind of hooked line and pulled off into the distance. They do see Bulldozer in this moment.
Bulldozer 1 is going to they're like naked, they don't have anything, right?
Correct.
I guess they've been speared through the head?
No, through the chest.
Oh, through the chest. I guess they'll reach into their chest, pull something out and throw it at Bulldozer 2 to get
You were grabbing an appendix, and like you reach out and you throw your appendix, it lobs through the air, and all of a sudden appendix just hits the ground right in front of you.
Yeah, I don't think Bulldozer 1 is here. I kick the appendix away. But we should definitely help Duchess. Duchess looks like she's in some serious shit.
So John Halo's gonna run over there. I have an ability, repurpose, where I can use equipment to do the unexpected.
Yeah.
Can I make this
solid
arm
tech ability?
Yeah, can I make one of these arms like just unexpectedly, instead of spearing someone, it just like lovingly grasps them and pulls them out?
You want to cradle someone? You want to crane game somebody?
Yeah. Just one person.
So yes, yeah, I think that's absolutely. So you come up on this like it is like very much like a giant crane. Like you see where these giant hulking like demon-like creatures are operating some of these, and you notice there's like 3 empty ones at the end. Make me a absolutely. You can do the crane game. Absolutely. Make me a recon roll to see how well you do this without being noticed.
It's a 12.
Okay. So you all of a sudden, who are you crane gaming?
I'll get whoever Reductress was screaming about.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden,
Jennifer.
Reductress, in front of you, you see this
Samantha
giant.
Jennifer.
You see this giant hook like slicing through the air, coming towards Jennifer's body. Not intentional. Scooping, like looking like it's about to spear her, then all of a sudden dipping down just enough to like gently pull her out underneath her arm.
Can I reach in and just like pull her back onto, not dry land, but
So
dry
actually it's
flesh,
up
so to
over the
speak?
edge of the bowl, right? Like you want to try to pull her over. Yeah, you're able to kind of pull Jennifer over and kind of cling her towards you.
My God. What an emotional moment. I hug her to me and begin crying profusely as old memories come flooding back.
Yeah, she's standing in front of you, like, fully nude, covered in like amniotic fluid, and like she is just weeping. Also, you can't necessarily even tell if she's aware you are there.
Right.
All of a sudden, Sandy, you sense two presences kind of closing in on you from the side. Like you can almost feel the rage that's being directed towards you from them.
Well, I don't like that. I guess I'll glance to my side. Do I see anyone there?
Yes, you do. As he quickly scrolls down to the part of the document he needs to be in. This is why I like physical better than. This is the only reason I like physical better than PDF. You see these like large like towers of fat and muscle with like they're like their flesh is almost welded around these gas masks that are in front of them because it's biting so deeply into their face. They've got like greasy, bloody aprons on.
Grease.
Yeah, 100%. And they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Running. And I'm gonna take off away from them towards the rest of the group.
Okay, so your group's kind of in two right now. You've got the people up by the bowl, got the people outside, like at the doorway by the ATV. Which one are you headed towards?
I'll head towards the bowl.
Okay. You as you run there, they're in pursuit, but they are significantly slower than you are. They're like lumbering towards you. You can feel the flesh underneath your feet quiver as their feet drop one after the other.
Okay, Sandy's gonna start yelling them. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
I think Dame Reduction just kind of looks over at whichever is the nearest one of them while, clutching her sister. Remember, she has a flamethrower on her back and goes, "You bastards," and just starts blasting. That's my sister.
Are you just flaming until something happens? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just like, I've got like my sister is like this, right? And I'm just like walking backwards with one hand, like Ripley and Aliens, right? With Newt. But obviously with fully adult. And just blasting with the flamethrower in the direction of this thing that's coming at me.
Awesome. So make a merc roll for me.
Can I, as Sandy, use tactics to give everyone a +1 here?
Sure. Tell me how you're achieving that +1. But yes, absolutely. Like tactically,
yeah.
What are you doing?
I think I'm. I think this is probably the first time the Duchess has ever used a flamethrower. So I'm just making sure we've lined things up right before we hit the button.
Also worth noting, the Dutch
sort of ghosting.
The Duchess has also rolled an 8, which I don't think is a success.
It is not a success. That said, you are just kind of you stated you're just burning everything. Like you're just burning in front of you. I
Rage,
like
just rage.
I love
Just
this. I
rage.
love this image of that, and I love the image of Kegan, of Dark Sandy ghosting you. So Dark Sandy, if you want to, you won't have the tactics bonus, but if you want to try to redirect the flow of this as just liquid fire pours out of this thing, you absolutely can make an attempt to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like a
11
stick,
from
just-
me.
Pushing.
What was
Just
it?
An 11.
So you like, whether it's two people, whether it's because Jennifer's body keeps on getting in the way, whatever it happens to be, like y'all, like there's fire like spraying in the air. There's fire, like these things are getting, like it's keeping them back. It's not, you've totally missed them, and you are burning through the fuel on this flamethrower.
Love to hear it.
just to fully understand the mental image. So we have the Duchess with a flamethrower holding her sister, and then behind the Duchess is Dark Sandy Ghost. It's kind of a complicated situation happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Is the ATV defleshed?
Is it more? Is it completely defleshed?
Quote
No.
of the night.
Is it largely defleshed? Yes. Roll a d4 for me.
I only thought we needed D6 for this game. 2.
You think you've gotten it about halfway cleared, so it'll work for a little while longer, but it's only going to operate about half the amount of time.
Cool. Yeah, I guess Beefcake is gonna say, "Get to the ATV," and then just pulse rifle into these things.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make your merc roll for me.
That's a 10.
Beefcake's kind of like, whether it's all the fire in the air that's obscuring these things, who knows?
It's the sight of 3 huddled women around one thing.
Is that including the +1 for tactics?
Oh no, 11.
Doesn't matter. You still miss. I just want to make sure you all remember you have +1 for tactics during this battle.
How rude.
All of a sudden, one of these creatures, like pulls out what looks like like the hooks that they've been using to get people. It looks like a harpoon gun version of that. It's this giant out a hook designed to grab people back, and they are aiming it straight at the Duchess right now, ready to do it. The other one has pulled out a cleaver and is trying to run off. What are you up to?
Z10 is just going to pretend to care about the humans that he's with, because that's where he's at. So I think that he's going to use his rapid fire ability to fire his pulse rifle twice at the harpoon wielding foe.
Cool. Go ahead and make your roll.
16.
And your second one?
19.
Awesome. So
Wow, what else could hit?
you fire off 2 shots, and you watch as like the phosphorus round like sizzles into the fat of this creature, and like it, you can almost track its movement through their bulbous head, as then it starts to sizzle slightly on the other side, and the smell of like turned bacon fills the air around you all. And right before the second one then clambers into the side of its body, and this thing collapses down to the ground.
Was that guy anywhere near Pew Pew?
No,
Pew Pew
I mean,
was
in the sense
closer
that
to
he's
they're two yelling about getting back to the.
You
Or
just
that
used
character.
rapid attack.
I did, so I will recharge rapid fire.
There we go. So you so you rapid fire. You see very similar thing. Like one hits the chest, The other one almost follows it straight in, and then you see this flare up as one phosphorus round impacts the other one. And this thing's like chest cavity kind of widens, and then their entire half of their body kind of like top half of their body sloughs off to the side.
Foul.
Now this has gotten the attention also of of all of the rest of these creatures that you can see further down at the end. Now y'all have plenty of time to respond, react, do what you want to do. All of a sudden the flamethrower runs out of fuel. And so like there's you can feel the heat hanging in the air, but there's no longer a gouts of flame shooting around you.
Yeah, good shooting, Duchess.
Duchess just continues screaming at the thing, just like she's like, "Drah!" And then realizes it's run out of fuel and just like takes it, just like throws it.
Yeah, so there's these two halves of the body laying on the ground. If Pew Pew wants to get over towards that bone cannon, they can.
Yeah, Pew Pew's going for that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think John Halo is going to go for the big cleaver thing.
Okay. And these are like they are absolutely manageable by y'all. This is more like a bone sword, like a wide bone sword for John. And it definitely is like you hold this with two hands, bone impaling bazooka like device for the impaler cannon.
Cleaver in one hand, machete in the other.
But yeah, you can hear more of these bodies coming down. The grinding and screaming has continued, but you can hear like that same kind of stomping, and you almost hear what sounds like cheering coming from the humans that were towards the tail end of that line, like a small moment of hopefulness in this ghastly landscape. We zoom in kind of on one of them. Ty, who is this person and how? Oh wait, no, wait, we already did Bulldozer one. Kegan, who is this person and how did one of your characters know them in life?
Oh, this is Coach Calhoun.
Okay.
He was the PE teacher at the Legion Officer Academy.
Okay. So we zoom in on Coach Calhoun and he's and you hear good game, and then all of a sudden a sword like a cleaver appears and just like decapitates Coach Calhoun right as he was about to good game you one more time.
And I think Sandy
uh,
sort of nods, and he had that coming.
And so you you have a few moments with which to act, try to get out of this place, do something if you want to.
Does anybody?
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I think Beefcake, my Marine, is pissed off about this whole situation. So everyone's going to the ATV, and then we're gonna hoof it. It looks like Beefcake is gonna run back in, and I'm gonna use my recon sabotage maneuver to wreck equipment and systems. I just want to completely wreck this whole conveyor organ harvesting thing.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just sort of a parting shot.
Sure, absolutely. You can 100% do that. Tell me, like, describe to me what that looks like.
So Beefcake from his short shorts is going to pull out a pulse detonator and hook it up to the machine and then say hasta la vista, baby. And
you hook it up to the places where the souls are coming out, this giant like orifice. Are you hooking it up to the bone things? Are you trying to make it down to the grinder, which means you're gonna have to get past the things? What are you blowing up exactly?
No, I want to try to blow up the source of where the souls are coming from, if possible.
Okay. Sure.
So that they're gonna be dry.
We're just gonna dam that hole.
Yeah, so you're absolutely gonna blow it up to some effect no matter what happens here. You're gonna disrupt the actions here. Roll a merc roll to try to place this like lob this thing exactly where you want it.
That's a 16.
All right, cool. So you have this pulse charge, right? You take it, you set it, slight timer. You lob it over the bowl, right, up into the sphincter-like orifice of that these souls are kind of extruding out of. That's another one for Joe. And it goes up directly into it, and you hear it impact the soft flesh and kind of get absorbed into it. And so you can decide that you've got 5 seconds before it blows back out. So you tell me what you want to do with those 5 seconds and how you want to handle letting everybody know.
Beefcake is gonna walk out, and then as the explosion happens, it's going to frame him in a action movie type.
Yeah, he's not
lighting.
looking back at it.
Oh no, he wouldn't. Honestly, his neck is so big he can't even turn his head that much.
So as Beefcake throws this thing and starts to walk away, what is everybody else doing?
I think we're trying to finish defleshing the ATV.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I'm imagining Pack Rat is just kind of locked in hand-to-hand combat, holding off this last one.
Well, both of the two you were against died. Somebody else shot the other one. So the two that were coming at you cleared. But if you're kind of holding the pass for any that might make it down that way, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody make a D6 roll for me to see if you were able to fully deflesh the ATV.
5.
Awesome. Yeah. So y'all are able to clear the flesh. There's still a little bit on there, but nothing that's going to influence it. You think you'll probably get about the same amount of distance off of it. All of a sudden, this explosion erupts. And we see instead of the normal bright explosion of gout of flame or plasma that we would see behind you, what we see is a giant sploosh of just blood and flesh and viscera and at least 3 amniotic sacs exploding outward. As well as all of a sudden it starts pouring out this sheave of giant flesh pours off this mound. The entire thing's disrupted, but the souls that are pouring out now are these kind of hairy, matted, misformed creatures that seem they seem almost more beast than person. You've 100% disrupted it, and it will 100% take time to do it, but it drops about 10 of these foul kind of hound-like fleshy mounds out of it as it erupts also too. And they leap on the souls that are remaining in the bowl.
Can I ask a question? So these are the souls. It's they would otherwise have been transformed into people, but with the machine broken, they're just
Look, we don't have the hell science to explain it to us.
I only asked that because it'd be terrible if something happened to my sister.
Do you want to make a tech roll and explain to me what in your background allows you to have knowledge around how hell people are extruded into the hell dimension?
Sure.
Tell me about how you acquired this dark knowledge, and go ahead and make a D6 roll for me to see how accurate your knowledge is.
Right. So I rolled a 3. Do I add any of my tech to that, or is it just straight?
What's your tech level?
It's a 2.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll weigh that in. Tell me how you knew this information.
Well, so as a child, I just was really, really into horror hollows, and it's just every night, every weekend, just went and just watched all the horror hollows. My parents didn't know about it, and so there's no good reason. It's just a pretty good imagination, just being really, really into this stuff.
Yeah.
And not really knowing the difference between reality and fiction, as previously shown.
So from all those horror movies that more than likely these were 10 damned souls destined for here. But as this thing exploded, those last 10 souls to make it through were the bodies couldn't form correctly. So now these damned souls are in constant agony, and that they are not in full control of their faculties, and they have an overwhelming desire to hurt themselves and others that can only be ended by their tortured soul being separated from the mangled flesh forms in front of them.
Huh.
Oopsie.
That's a lot to unpack. Anyway, we should drive off.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We have to help them.